Yo, what's up? So recently I was searching through the internet looking for topics to talk about, and I found a perfect topic to talk about and someone who's perfect for the conversation. And honestly, I have made videos on this type of person or degenerate. Those are called lolicons, which I'm not sure if you can say that on YouTube, and I have said it before, and I do believe they are all degenerates. And I said it before, like a couple years back, and I even made accounts going against them, saying that they're disgusting, which you should definitely follow. But shameless plug. But anyways, in today's video, we're going to talk about another lolicon, which goes by the name of Sam Candles, and she or he. I'm not really comfortable with calling them by their preferred pronouns because I view them as pedos, so I wouldn't necessarily follow them. Now, if it was a regular transgender person, of course I would go by their pronouns, but because I view this person as a pedo, I would not respect their pronouns at all. Dude, you gotta respect their pronouns, and even if they're a pedo, you still gotta I don't care. Even if you say that they're not a pedo, at most they're a pedo defender, which is just almost just as worse as being a pedo within itself. But anyways, in today's video, we're talking about the video that Sam has uploaded, called Lolicon Censorship and Ethics in Art, which you can already tell by the title itself. He's going to be defending Lolicon and Loli within itself and the distribution, which is as well the disgusting. But let's see if he can actually defend it, which I highly doubt he could. And he's probably going to argue the law, which as well is one of the main talking points that I heard other lolicons try to argue, even if that try to argue that's not disgusting somehow.
I will be mentioning not just the concept of lewd artwork as a whole, but things like pedophilia, rape, general hard kinks, as well as a few mentions of extreme violence. I have not censored any of my wording, so I expect you to act mature about it as well. And if you're squeamish about these things, or even worse, a child, get out of here. Go somewhere else. I would also like to ask you to not make any broad assumptions about me or the point I'm trying to make until after you've seen the entire video. Thank you. What art should be allowed to exist? This is a question I've been asking myself since I was young, and now that I have my own answer to it, it's a question that has naturally come up a lot when I discuss art with others. When does a creative work cross the line into the wrong, the immoral, the societally unacceptable? While there are plenty of ways someone could answer this question, my personal stance is one that will definitely seem radical to many. I simply believe there shouldn't be an arbitrary line.
Ladies and gentlemen, what he essentially is saying that there is no line between something being disgusting while you're drawing it and something not being disgusting while you're drawing it. Now, of course, you could say there's creativity, but as well, the creativity still somehow would have limits, and as well, make sure you don't completely disgust your viewers unless that's the intention. And if you're saying that, if you're trying to argue that, then I would say that you still should be lying. There should still be lines in between what you should draw and what you shouldn't draw. And as well, there's obvious standards, which somehow he doesn't believe so, which is absolutely disgusting, but okay.
Vibes is a bad thing. In my opinion, the only art that can be inherently immoral is art created through or with the intent of hurting another human being. But when you have this stance, it does ultimately end up leading to the defense of things a lot of people have very strong feelings about. Sometimes it can be something most people can agree upon, like the fact violent video games should be allowed to exist. Or it can be things that are a lot more contentious, like art depicting immoral sexual acts. I've seen it firsthand that a lot of people agree with me in regards to being anti-censorship and for freedom in art until they realize how broad that scope really is. So, let's get into the main topic at hand here. Lolicon is, bluntly put, a genre of artwork and fiction involving young, sometimes even prepubescent girls, particularly in suggestive or outright sexual scenarios. In some contexts, the word can also be used to refer to someone who seeks out and enjoys these sort of works. And most importantly for the context of this video, it is possibly the singular most controversial type of art you can defend the existence of, especially in the context of the modern day internet. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. Probably something along the lines of course it should be controversial. It's sexualized minors. And, of course, considering how children cannot consent and the taboos of our culture, it does make sense how many, even most people, would come to this sort of conclusion. And obviously, I also don't blame anyone for being grossed out by the concept itself. But is it inherently immoral? Should it be censored? Should it be illegal? I don't think so, and I'll explain why. Fiction?
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. One, violence in video games obviously have a standard that they have to follow, and if they go above that standard, they're more likely to be banned. Two, yes, it's immoral, and three, yes, it's immoral, and it should be censored. And obviously, I don't know how did he come to this conclusion that people is going to agree with the idea. But of course, he did say most people disagree with the idea, which his smaller fan base somehow views this and thinks that this is a reasonable assumption that it shouldn't be censored when you're inherently looking for a child, even if it's not a child in the anime or whatever that you're looking through. It still within itself resembles a child. But I digress. Let's continue watching this video. Even though it's torture, yes, I know it's very much torture. It's been torture watching this myself. Yeah.
Where the LOLI in lolicon comes from. Lolita is about, in short, an adult man who obsesses sexually over a 12-year-old girl. This book contains all the things that someone against the idea of lolicon would want to disallow. And yet, it's widely considered one of the most impactful, important books ever written. Should it be burned, censored, unavailable to the public just because of its contents?
So the book itself, I never really read it, but I heard about Wendigoon's review of the book and as well as his deep dive about it. So basically the point of the book isn't supposed to be that this character is doing a good thing. We obviously know that the character in the book is disgusting and we absolutely all see him as repulsive. But as well, it's supposed to say that the point of view as well determines, and the person writing the book is supposed to be viewed as some type of good guy. And as well, the person in the book makes it seem like they're a good guy when they're a terrible person and they're very disgusting. But this is the way that the book itself makes it seem like. But anyways, that's enough of the book review. But essentially, the difference is that the intention here was supposed to make it seem like this person was a good person when he's disgusting. But as well, the book itself, which compares to actual people, lolicons themselves, that they're so convinced that they're not pedos when they actually are, that they go at the defensive and believe that others who actually argue against them are the PDFs. They believe that the people who intentionally say that, hey, that look at this and say this is disgusting are the PDFs, which is somewhat backwards thinking, to be honest, which I have interacted with multiple lolicons and they somehow think like that, and it's honestly so backwards, but whatever. We digress with the video.
To have an interest in the art itself. The same way most furries do not have an actual sexual attraction to real animals. And in both cases, neither of these things can turn someone into a pedophile or a zoophile. These sort of paraphilias are something which is deep-seated into someone's brain, long before they find media depicting similar things in fiction. And yet, similarly to furries, it would be remiss of me to claim there's never any overlap, fringe or otherwise. Obviously, someone who's already a pedophile would be interested in fictional works that align, in one way or another, with their interests. And so it begs...
Well, there's a huge difference in intentions. Now, of course, the furry can just dress up as a furry. Now, that's weird, but it's different than being a zoophile and actually wanting a sexual attraction to a dog. Now, of course, having a sexual attraction to furries is something different in that could cross the line into zoophilia. That is the overlap between the two. And I think that this is what you're implying. Now, of course, and having a attraction to a child and having attraction to a child in a format or in an anime is still strange within itself, and still pedophilic, and still pedophilia within itself. And I'm not sure if I even say the full word, so I don't know, but I heard her say, or him say, pedophilia in the video within itself, so I might as well just say the full word. And I kind of give up on trying to say fully, but anyways, yeah, to be honest, I kind of stopped caring about her argument or his argument, because honestly it just shows that they're trying to argue semantics and a lot of technicalities, which still doesn't excuse their actions and still views it as disgusting. But yeah, so it's obvious that you shouldn't mess with an anime child or a child in general. And of course, yeah, that's it. Goodbye.